I'll get out of the way.
You don't hear the pump go.
Yeah, good idea. All right, thanks. All right, this is episode, I don't know what episode I'm on. I don't know what episode I'm on now. Is it 4 maybe? I really do need to get one of those clappers. All right, let me reset here. Clear that. Close that, close that. Okay. Hello again. So this is episode 4 or 5 or something of whatever this is, Python and poetry, series of videos I'm making for my creative coding class. So we're going to pick up where I left off in the last video, except that I'm going to do the same thing I've been doing, which is start my Jupyter notebook with the terminal here. I'm going to do this a slightly different way just to kind of help you understand what I'm doing when I look at the terminal. And this is the same if you have a Mac, and actually it's pretty similar if you have Windows too, just some of your commands will be different. It's useful to know kind of what's going on under the hood in your computer, I think. So this is the terminal, this is where things happen. This is where you interact simply by typing, but you're looking at the same kinds of things that you're looking at if you open up your hard drive and look at it through this kind of system. So this is probably how you're used to looking at your files and folders on your computer. Or you might, have it listed like that or show it as icons. This is really just another way of viewing the same things and doing different kinds of things with those files and folders. But you just have to know, you have to type things, and you have to know what you're typing, and sometimes that can be a little bit intimidating and weird at first. But it's really convenient once you get used to it. So a couple of handy things to remember. PWD shows you where you are currently. That's what you see visually in the Finder, but in the terminal you can just say PWD, give me the file path location of where I am right now. So users, so /users / Zach Whalen, that's the same as, I don't know where that window just went. That's the same as this. So, no, yes, that's the same as this. So if I wanted to see the files in this particular location just to verify that I am where I think I am, you can type ls for list and see this list of files that are here, and it should be the same as this list here. There's a ton of stuff, but nothing really important, I think. So hopefully nothing like private or whatever. But there's my Creative Cloud stuff. Anyway, so PWD. You can always also type clear just to kind of reset these screens. This is what I've been doing. All right. So, if you remember how I get to my creative coding examples, I go through the Jupyter notebook and I kind of drill down until I get to my examples folder. I can do that from here too. Using the cd command. CD stands for change directory. If you're in Windows, by the way, dir is how you figure out where you are, and then cd should work the same. I think. Yeah, I don't know. I've never, my command line experience is mostly in Linux and in Mac. I don't remember, I don't do too much with Windows, but I don't know. I'll just show you what I'm doing here. So cd is going to change directories into a particular location. If you ever get lost, by the way, in a terminal, you can always do cd and then the tilde character, which will take you back to the home place, basically, back to the top level in your case. So to change directories into a direction somewhere, you have to know where you're going. So I have all my programming stuff in a folder called PG. So I go to cd PG, which takes me down into the PG folder. So now I have users, Zach Whalen, PG. And then I know that I have a folder within here called Creative Coding. So I cd Creative Coding, and now I'm in here. And then I also have a folder within that called examples. If you're not sure of the spelling, by the way, you can start typing it and hit tab like I just did there, and then it'll complete so that you verify that you have spelled it right. And then now I'm into my examples, and I can see the things that I was working on, the Python notebooks that I created, including the Secret Peaches project, which is what I'm working on for this example. So I did that in several steps, but you can do it in one step too. So start back at the top. If you know where you're going, you can always do PG. In this case, creative coding and examples. You can type that whole path as one expression like that, and then it takes you in there. So I'm back where I thought I was. So I'm going to launch the notebook from here, and what you should notice, This may actually be inconvenient in a little way, but it just launches right in that folder where I expected. So these are the Python notebooks that I've been working on for these examples. It just launches like just right there. So Secret Peaches is what I've been working on. And this is as far as I got last time. So I've got the templates. I've got the getAnimal function now defined so that it's only going to be giving me a random animal if that animal has 2 syllables. So we're going from there. I need to do the same thing for the getFood function and then a couple other things. But we'll see what we need to do with that going forward. So let's figure out what's going to happen. All right, so in this episode, I think we'll try to at least get the animal and the food function both returning the proper number of syllables. Although I noticed that we're going to need to, for the food, we're going to need to pluralize it, I think, to make it match. So I'm going to have to figure out how to do that right now, I guess. So let's get started with just making it a function that works. So I'll just kind of run this cell and run the top cell again just to make sure that everything still works like I expect it to, and indeed it does. So I'm a porpoise, I live near the beaches, when I'm alone I eat secret goji berry. Okay, so that's a poem, I guess. It doesn't rhyme it yet, but that's going to be probably two more episodes away, but we're getting there. So I just want to make the food function actually pretty much exactly the same as my animal function. I could also make it the actual same function and then pass the variable into it. Should I do it that way? No, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way so that I kind of like the idea of being more explicit with this code just so it's easier to see what's happening. So I'm going to do it this way. Also because I'm going to want plural foods and singular animals. So like I could make a single function that takes different parameters and looks for either an animal or a food based on the parameter and the number of syllables. And then plural or singular. That's going to make a single complicated function. So I think I'll withhold that for now, but I might do that at the end, but we'll work with it in this more explicit way. That process, by the way, if I end up with a lot of functions that are pretty similar and then I realize I can make them all one function, that's called refactoring, when you reorganize your code to be more efficient. But let's see what we've got to do here to make this actually work the way we want. So right now I've got getFood defined, so it's actually returning animals, which is not what I want. I need to make it so that it's going to return, like right now, it's called getFood, but it's actually accessing the animals list instead of the food list. So I could run it. I mean, it should work programmatically, but it's not going to work poetically because it doesn't do what I want. So I am a lamb. I live near the beaches. When I'm alone, I eat secret mole. That's kind of weird. I have a lot of moles in my yard. Somebody needs to come eat them. I'm a yak. I live near the beaches. When I'm alone, I eat secret frog. I have a lot of frogs in my yard too. I have one in my kitchen. It lives in a little jar. His name is Frogadier. Hopefully no one eats Frogadier because we like Frogadier, but I don't know. He's okay for now. So I live in an aardvark. Okay, you get the idea. These are animals, not foods. So everything about this is actually going to be the same. This function that I'm getting food, I'm going to hit the PyCorpora list, except a different part of it. I'm going to do the same check on the pronunciation, the same double checking thing to make sure that there is a pronunciation to check the syllables of. So, oops, you don't need to see all that. So instead of asking for that one, I'm going to go into, let's see, I don't have that code up anymore, but I can double check the corpora. Yeah, okay, so it's foods, fruits. It's the fruits part of the fruits list in the foods folder. So to access that here, I change that to food, I change that to fruits, and then I change that to fruits. I think, was it fruits or fruit? Yeah, fruits. Okay, so now I'm going to be getting, oops, we got an error. Module PyCorpora has no attribute food. What did I do wrong? Oh, it's foods. You have to make it match. Okay, so foods. There we go. I am a leopard. I live near the beaches. When I'm alone, I eat secret grape. Okay, so like I said, we need to figure out how to pluralize this so that we're eating grapes and not one grape. Okay, let's figure this out. So let's see what we can do with TextBlob. And like I said, this is me figuring things out as I go. So pardon me while I Google a bit or DuckDuckGo a little bit. Let's see, can we do pluralizing with TextBlob? If not, I can think of a couple of other things we can try. Let's see. Let's find out. Oh, great. This is nice. This is what often happens when I try to figure out something like this. I find Alison Parrish's explanation of how to do the thing. So this is Alison Parrish's explanation of how to do some stuff with TextBlob, which is awesome. So let's see what pluralizing is, if it's on here. If in fact, okay, perfect. So here's a section, and kind of like she wrote in the pronouncing documentation, here's how we can do some pluralization. Let's see if we can figure this out. So that is actually, oh, here it is actually. So that was just describing what pluralization is, and now we have some pluralizing. Okay, so let's try it. So we've got TextBlob already. It looks like we can make, we just need to have a word object, and then we just need to run this pluralize function on it that's built into the word object that TextBlob will construct. Okay, interesting. So let's try it out here. I don't need these cells anymore, so I'm going to cut those. Let's see, how should we do this? So let's make let's do this. Like, we'll do, we'll just make just a text string here. I'm a walrus, and then we'll make that a blob. Run that to make sure that works, and then kind of take a look at blob to see what it is. Okay, so this tells me when I ask it right here in this cell 13, when I say blob, I'm just asking Python Notebook to tell me what is blob, and it tells me that it is a text blob object, which means it has certain properties, like it has sentences. Just has the one sentence, but if it were a paragraph, it would have multiple sentences. It should have words as well. Let's see. Yeah, so it has several words. It gives me this as a word list, which is I am a walrus, and so I can iterate through each of these things in the word list. So I could say for W in blob words, well, I have to print it because I'm in here in a for loop. So I can print this out. So I am a walrus. Now these are all words that are in that word list, and these are special kinds of objects. These are TextBlob word objects. So they should also be able to pluralize. So let's find out. So let's actually just run it right in here and see if this works. Pluralize. Okay, there we go. Now it says, we ams some walruses, which is, not great. I mean, it's close, though. Well, actually, I didn't even got walruses wrong, so that's interesting. This is the drawback, I guess, or the risk you take in certain cases with libraries. Sometimes they don't work exactly as you expect. TextBlob, I think, I don't think it has a dictionary for like what the correct pluralization is. I think it just tries to apply pluralization rules, which, as we know with the English language, it doesn't always follow the rules. So there's certain words that they don't fit into the rule model that TextBlob is trying to implement. So, that's happened here for walruses, but that's not actually the word we need to pluralize in this case. Let's see what happens. You also see what happens when it's tried to pluralize the word am, which isn't a noun. So but it didn't know it's a noun. It just said ams instead of like it just said the rule for pluralization is stick an s on the end, and so it did, even though it didn't know what that word am was as a plural, because you can't pluralize a verb. Okay, so we'll try this on a different text string. Let's say, let's do our final line. I eat secret peach. We'll just say peach and then see if it'll construct this the right way. So if we run that as the new blob and then we run it here. So now it says, we eat secrets peaches. Okay, kind of decent. We at least have peaches pluralized correctly, which is the thing that we're interested in here. So let's go back up into the function that's going to be producing the food item to add to our poem. We've got a local variable called keepers again, just like we did with animals. And so what we want to do is return not just that random item, but we want to actually we want to pluralize it as it's being returned. In this case, I think we can just add it. We can just maybe, no, we have to TextBlob it first. Okay, so we're going to do this like this. We'll call this food, and you know what? Actually, now that I'm looking at it, we should go ahead and change this variable too, because this is iterating through the loop with food, and I think it makes sense to use names that make sense. As you saw, it worked fine. The name of a variable is, in a sense, arbitrary because I'm just calling it whatever I want. But I think the thing that I call it should be clear, so this will be a bit clearer. So I just need to make sure I change all those. Okay, so I'm going to say, I'm just going to make it, again, really explicit here. So I'll call this new variable that's going to have the plural version of this food underscore plural. And I'm going to, let's just see if I can do this all in one line. So I'm going to ask it to construct, you know what, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to call it blob just because that's consistent. We'll call it TextBlob. We'll call it blob, and then we'll run TextBlob on a random choice here. And then, so that's going to give us one word, and then we're going to pluralize that. We're going to return the pluralized version of that. So we'll say blob.pluralize. Okay, so let me just kind of double check this. So we've constructed the keepers list. We're going to pull a random item off of that. We're going to pass that random item into TextBlob, and then blob is going to pluralize. It's going to return the pluralized version of that. I think I'm missing something because I need to make sure. I think I'm missing something, but I'm going to try it anyway and see if this gives me an error. I think it will, but I want to try it anyway because I'm not sure if I can pluralize the whole blob. I feel like I need to get to a specific word in the blob, even though the blob only has one word in it. Let me just try this. I think it's going to be an error, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, so there's the error. Yeah, exactly. So the TextBlob object has no attribute pluralize. That happens because it's not the TextBlob itself, it's the word within the TextBlob that has the attribute pluralize that we need. So we need to figure out how to work with a TextBlob of only one word. So if we say text is just peach, this will be similar to what we're trying to do here. Let's see what happens if we do w in blob.words, print w.pluralize. Okay, so that works, but we don't really need this whole loop thing because it's a single list. So let's just see if we can work with that by itself. So we've got blob.words. It is words because, even though there's only one of it, because that's the method that TextBlob is working with. But we only want the first item of that. Let's just see if we can get the first item of that. Okay, good. So we're using the index here of that first item, which is 0, and then we want to pluralize that. There we go. So this is how we need to refer to this single word and pluralize it in our function above. So I'll copy this line back up here. Where was I? There I am. And now I've got the blob. I should just be able to return it like that. Okay, I ran that code. Let's see if it'll give us a poem. Hey, great. So I'm a ferret. I live near the beaches. When I'm alone, I eat secret quinces. Makes sense. Oh, we got peaches. I'm a woodchuck. I live near the beaches. When I'm alone, I eat secret peaches. That, of course, was just a coincidence, but a welcome one to be sure. I'm a boar. I live near the beaches. When I'm alone, I eat secret cherries. Okay, so now we have a sentence that at least makes sense. We haven't got to rhyme yet, but I think this is making some pretty good progress. So we'll call that the end of episode whatever that was. And cut. Okay. Okay, so what else? We're just going to go next. Let's do a couple of checks here.